I take the wax earplugs that people use for gunshots and I stuff them up my nose so that I don't have to smell them.
If I can grab an organ, grab an organ.
I perfected the technique of eating innards, and that is not to eat them like some people do. I'll open my mouth wide for a bite and like put them over here or under here or do anything just so that I don't have to put them in my mouth.
Scene 101, take one. Mark it.
Poor Joe was unprotected, and I have a videotape of us, and Joe, he's ready to heave. I think we kept telling him, Joe, look, in 45 minutes we'll be out of here and you'll be part of movie history. Yeah, really? Okay, so, he knew it was bullshit. He knew we were priming him, we were conning him, but he also knew that, it was true.
Part of Tom's charm on the set then is putting it people at ease.
He also knew that, it was true.
Part of Tom's charm on the set then is putting it people at ease. People that don't have experience with it. He's a charmer. He can really disarm you.
Obviously an idol to his fans, far more, I would say, than probably any other makeup artist. We get letters from readers in which they say they like all the leading makeup artists, like Dick Smith and Rick Baker and Rob Bottin, but there's a special allegiance to Tom Savini.
And sometimes I meet a fan who has a terrific portfolio, and the kid's like 19 years old. When I was 19, I never heard of foam latex. This guy's whipping it up, and it's a little aggravating, to have wasted so much time. So what I do is I always ask them to send me copies of their stuff, and I start a file on them.
He always has had a strong rapport with horror movie fans. He's always attended conventions and made personal contact with fans.
I buy stuff too. It's my phaser here for Star Trek. Little robots back there. You can hear them. We won't bring them out. I'm crazy. I buy all this stuff.
He became, to many of the fans, a symbol of a fan who made it.
I think everyone that works in the genre, anyone that's good, is in touch with their own fears somewhere. But I think Tom is probably very much in touch with those fears.
In many ways, I still have not grown up, and that's luckily for me where the magic still exists and how I can put it into things, you know what I'm saying? It's childish attitude, I think, is what makes things, alive. Creepshow is a prime example of getting an assistant to do something that I don't want to do, would never do, can't do, afraid to do. It was the cockroaches. We had 28,000 cockroaches in Creepshow. For the scene when the bugs crawl out of E.G. Marshall, there's these two guys underneath a set filling these large syringes with cockroaches.
Thanks to Tom, he built that bust, and it was a really good-looking bust, and we were able to literally force-feed the roaches through the thing.
The bugs are falling down on them, and they're being covered. They're stuffing roaches back in there.
There's just no way, when you're working with insects like that, to carefully plan a series of shots that relies on the insects behaving in any given way. Them roaches just don't take direction.
There were two entomologists, actually, also there, who collected the bugs in Trinidad and brought them back and had a vein where they would breed, 8,000 more than they collected. It was called the Roach Motel.
The entomologists, the guys that were controlling the bugs, they'd stand in there and they'd let them crawl all over them. Although one guy freaked out once in a big scene when he had to dump a trash barrel full of them into a shot. And instead of going out the way he dumped the trash barrel, they came back up his arms and crawled all over him. And he freaked. He literally freaked out. Tom was really freaked by it. I don't think he got over his phobia at all. We lost thousands of them. There's just nothing you can do.
That's wonderful. But the demon streak, I definitely have that because, as I talked to you before about enjoying scaring people, I'll jump out of my bed and scare the kids out front or something, or throw firecrackers out the window,
You'll be sitting in the living room, and all of a sudden I'll have this ton of firecrackers coming down the stairs, But it always keeps you on your toes.
So I'd sneak around, and it was always just one kid, Billy Cronin. I knew if I got him first, then the word would spread. So I'd sneak up behind him and just scare. I mean, it's amazing that the kid didn't realize that this is another kid, but he didn't, okay? So I'd sneak up and I'd grab him as a werewolf, and pretty soon I'd hear him running around, "There's a werewolf in me!"
He's great for doing that and for tricking and catching you totally off balance.
Tom, in his eloquent love for his buddies, bought me a pet tarantula. I hate spiders. I fear spiders worse than anything in the world. So he's like, "Greg, yeah, I got your present." And I opened this container, and there's a tarantula in there. So I was so scared. I had his arm behind his back. I was going to break his arm if he came near me with it.
I get this urge every now and then I got to scare somebody. I also sent away for a Don Post Frankenstein mask and put it on the guy and put him in a bunk and put a sheet over his head, and Mama Son would come in and say, "Mama Son, Viet Cong." I forget what the word is, but I said they rubbed them out. She went, "Oh," we pulled the sheet back, and there's Frankenstein lying in the bed. Wow. She took off again, running away, In fact, I had a makeup kit in Vietnam. I would do scars on people, practice beards and things, I made a set of goofy teeth and would slip them in every now and then. I made a set of fangs. Didn't realize how I was going to freak out the Vietnamese Mama Son. So, Mama Son would turn around and there was this guy with fangs. He must have just turned into that and ran away screaming, One poor Mama Son never came back. I felt bad about that. I enlisted in the Army to stay out of Vietnam and wound up at headquarters camp, for the most part, processing reconnaissance film when it came down. But my job mainly was to, when the stuff was over, go take pictures. The equipment, the damage to equipment, people, things like that. Because I was a photographer, looking through the camera, I felt a separation between myself and the stuff I had to photograph, It was almost like special effects. Seeing firsthand, anatomically correct gore. Every now and then, loading film or something, I would look around and it would get to me. You come back to the States and guys just couldn't adjust to freedom, again and all that stuff. I mean, I adjusted easily, I thought. It was within a year I finally noticed a sunset and thought it was beautiful. It didn't affect me as badly as it affects lots of other guys I heard about. My 4-month-old daughter, Leah, would like to do a stunt for you. Ready? Come on, the other one.
He says he's going to have her flipping within half a year, which I, think Tom will probably be doing.
Bravura, chutzpah. Showing off.
I started working with Tom as a stuntman. The first film I did, Dawn of the Dead, he took me as his assistant, and we did special effects, makeup, and all the stunts.
I was a gymnast in high school. I'm not afraid of the ground. I think that's the key right there, not being afraid of the ground.
He did about a 35-foot headlong fall for Dawn of the Dead.
I said, I can do this. I can dive off this balcony, piece of cake.
We just plan it so well that it's very difficult to get hurt unless you blow it.
So, I did a little test for him. Diving off the balcony, missed, got hurt. Walked around with a cane for a couple of weeks in a golf cart, still doing the effects. And then when it came time to do it, I did it successfully. I wound up doing about 16 stunts in the film. Oh, you mother.
I see you!
It's always dangerous, but at the same time it's exciting because it's dangerous.